Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1587 of What's She Up To Now, documenting the journey, primarily business journey, and just sharing my experiences as I've transitioned from the offline world to the online world and then back and forth again. Following my divorce and decades of corporate and business experience, I decided instead of retiring, I was going to go online and figure out how this online world works. And I've learned a lot. Some good, some bad, some really, really ugly. They're just like in the offline world, there are ugly things that go on in the online world, the internet world, that confuse and confound and lead a lot of people astray, me included when I first started out. And there's lessons that we need to learn so that we don't do those things, so we don't fall into those pitfalls or those pits that can detract us from what it is that we really want to achieve. So today I'm sharing a couple different pieces of content. Just got done recording a video on coin it in, the idiom and expression coin it in. I have never heard before. It turns out it's most often heard in the United Kingdom and Australia, which might be why I've never heard it. And I'm curious if other people have heard it. Now I've got people all around the world that hear me. And so I'm sure some people have experienced it and I want to hear their experiences, but I've never heard it. It just means to earn a lot of money quickly. And I applied that to how do we grow and supersize our business. And I shared passive income things that we talked about in the annual challenge, as well as ways that I like to get quick influxes of cash into my various businesses for projects, for different things, for when it's required. And then I talked a little bit about how it's important that when we're making offers to the people that we serve, that we tie it to some sort of financial win, or at least a not loss for people, and have some kind of a financial component, at least when we're talking about it, because it turns out that Forbes estimates that, and there's been scientific studies that say 68%, they said that 71% of Americans struggle with money in some way, shape, or form, right? Some people, of course, struggle a lot with money. Some people have just little struggles, but 71% of Americans, that's 178 million people. That's a lot of people. So that means that, almost 2/3 of the population, or 3/4 actually, of the population has money challenges. So we want to make sure that we're addressing money in some way, shape, or form, either gain or not losing, make money or save money in every offer that we make to people, right? We want to not assume they know what the financial implications are of our offer. Hey, they know the price, but we need to present the value in a way that they're getting way more than they're going to pay for what they're getting from us, right? Whatever transformation, whatever problem we're solving for them, etc. So we talked about that because I think it's really important. A lot of times we just assume people know and have the same information that we do, and they absolutely positively don't. We need to spell it out for them, and in a way that is important to them, that benefits them. They don't care that we're going to make money and that they're going to save money, and they only care about that they're going to save money or find a way to make money for themselves, right? And make their life better. And we need to remember what's in it for them is more important than what's in it for me, right? Because every individual is asking, well, what's in it for me? Why should I do this? Why would I spend my time and energy and money and value and other resources on anything that you offer? I wouldn't, unless I clearly see that there's a huge benefits for me, not benefit, but a huge benefits for me, then I'll get involved in it. People ask me every day, can we have a 15 or 30-minute conversation? And my answer is always no. Why? Because they don't present it in a way that's in it for me. If they came to me and said, or messaged me, I usually get most of these through messaging or email, hey, this is what I can do for you. Do you have 15 minutes to discuss it? Or want you to come on my podcast? Please don't ask me to go on your podcast, but do a pre-meeting to discuss it, because that is just a way of pre-selling someone. At least in my experience, that's what it's been. And I don't need your product or service. If I need somebody's product or service or help in my business, I look for that. I go out and find that. So be careful how we're presenting ourselves to other people. Number one, it looks really desperate. All those mass mailings that people do online, or mass messages, or messaging on your comments in your social media that has nothing to do with anything except them promoting their business. No, Don't do that. It makes you look desperate. And if you look desperate, guess what? You're showing everybody that you're just starting out and that you probably don't have the experience and the expertise that you're claiming to have. And that will undermine you more than anything, because it'll undermine your confidence. You'll get slow, if any, results. And there's a lot better ways to go about doing and growing and building and supersizing your business. So our action item, our discussion and our topic for today in the annual challenge, the BU 365-day challenge, is how our finances and our financial well-being interacts with all the other areas and aspects of our life, all the other areas of the life framework. I call it the LF9 because we have 9 areas and aspects in the life framework that we're using for the annual challenge: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence, right? So each of those areas in that framework are the ones that I use to set my personal goals and objectives, and to measure and see if I'm achieving them or not. And of course you can list those, but this is I was explaining this to one of my coaching students. I said, this is what it really looks like, the life framework. It isn't that our finances, our relationships, our contribution, our confidence, our communication exist in an island and we can set goals just for that and they're not going to have any implications on anything else. They are all intimately interrelated, and probably one of the most studied scientific areas of our life and what impacts our life is finances. And there have been tons of scientific studies on how does financial well-being, financial health impact our relationships? How does it impact our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health and well-being? And there have been all kinds of studies that show that it causes, and that means 68 to 71% of the population right now, between that and, plus or minus 10% statistically, and this anxiety was found to be in 68% of financially struggling people, or people were insecure about their finances, meaning they might be super duper rich and have a lot of money, but they were fearful about and had anxiety about losing it, right? Remember, it can go both ways. Headaches, migraines, compromised immune system, digestive issues, high blood pressure, muscle tension, heart arrhythmia, depression, feeling of being overwhelmed, and then difficulty sleeping, feeling angry, fearful, mood swings, tiredness, because they're not sleeping, right? Have you ever lost sleep over money? I certainly have. That's probably one of that, or worry about my kids, right? Because even though I know worry is a waste of time and energy, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma. We still have a little bit of doubt, fear, and worry around our kids because we don't want anything to ever happen to them. Muscle pain, loss of appetite, lower sex drive, withdrawal from other people, but then also overeating, increased dependency on outside things like drugs, alcohol, gambling, overeating, eating disorders. All kinds of things can happen because of stress, anxiety, doubt, worry, fear, etc. over our finances and over money. So I created a little grid that I'm going to do for our action item today. And all I'm asking people to do is think about how our financial health and well-being impacts each of the different areas and aspects of our life, and then share the one that they think it has the biggest impact on. And I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to use a little tool. I like to use tools and ways of measuring things, especially when they're subjective, to try to make it more objective. So I'm looking at all the 9 areas and aspects of my life, positive, negatives, and neutrals, and then I'm going to try to come up with a word that describes that interaction to me right now. And then that'll help me figure out what is the one area that's most impacted by my finances. I would say it's probably either my mental or emotional. Just guessing, that would be, or it could be my communication. It could be anything. That's why I made the more complicated grid, to try to get at the nuances of my financial well-being and other areas of my life. So if I can help you anyway, it's a holiday weekend here in the United States, Memorial Weekend. Tomorrow's Memorial Day. So lots of fun family related things going on these days. If I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow just to talk about and share some of the lessons I'm learning as I'm growing and building and supersizing my businesses, both online and offline these days. So If you've got any questions about that, feel free to hit me up and ask. I always say I've got that 5-minute guarantee. If you're feeling stuck or you don't know what to do next and you've thought about it, you're just struggling a little bit and you need somebody to bounce an idea off of and help you get clear on what that next thing you need to do is. Not everything you need to do, but what's the next thing you need to do to keep moving forward or to get moving forward. Please ask. Don't stay stuck, because one of the worst things we can do is say, I don't know what to do, and just then find ways to procrastinate and stay stuck and run that hamster wheel, but not ever go anywhere. All right, have an awesome day. I'll be with you tomorrow.